This as House Democrats are pushing for a $547 billion highway bill. Joining me right now to see what's possible is Illinois Congressman, member of the House Transportation and Infrastructure Committees, Rodney Davis. Congressman, it's good to see you this morning. Thanks very much for being here. Tell us how the money will be allocated. What do you see possible in terms of an infrastructure deal?
Well, Maria, thanks for having me on again. I will tell you, first of all, I want to make sure your viewers know this bill that we're voting on and debating this week here in the House is not the bipartisan deal that President Biden was talking about. It's a very partisan bill that puts most of the money in urban areas at the sacrifice to rural America and many of the areas that I represent.
So this is totally different than the $1 trillion deal that the senators were talking about. Where does the bill that you're voting on this week go from here?
You know, it probably goes nowhere, Maria. This probably will end up being nothing but political theater. It's unfortunate that this is the path that the Democrats in the House have chosen. This bill, we tried to be bipartisan. There's about $164 billion identified in bureaucratic red tape in this bill that we could have fixed with my simple amendment called the One Federal Decision Act. The Democrats just conveniently threw out of the way. They don't want to help with taxpayer dollar efficiencies. All they want to do is pass their new Green Deal priorities. And in this bill we're debating today, in this bill, about $1 out of every $2 in this $500 billion plus package is going to new Green Deal priorities.
Yeah, you know, I got to tell you, it's very frustrating the way politics gets involved in everything. The American people have been waiting for progress, and yet everything is just laced with politics. And what I'm trying to understand, where are the needs and where do you think those needs will be met in terms of infrastructure? I mean, the Green Deal is incredibly expensive, and they're calling everything infrastructure just to meet what they deem as green. Look, that's why Americans want term limits. This is out of control, the way that the politics just dictate everything. So tell us where the needs are in America right now, Congressman.
Well, the needs are in districts like mine. We have crumbling roads, we have crumbling bridges, and that's what the American people feel is infrastructure. Now, be very careful, because you alluded to it just a second ago, Maria. Be very careful when my colleagues out here in Washington start to rationalize what infrastructure is, because that means they know infrastructure is very popular with the American people. Who doesn't want their roads and bridges replaced and fixed and rebuilt? But they're trying to use that catchy title to raise taxes on every American family and to pass their new Green Deal priorities, which will actually make tax dollars not go as far in completing the projects that America wants.
Yep. America's crime crisis is also deepening, and now you've got word games being played by the Democrats trying to blame the Republicans after a year of defund the police commentary. Missouri Congresswoman Cori Bush is pushing a $10 billion act, which she's calling the People's Response Act, to explore alternatives to prisons and policing. Democrats are trying to distance themselves now from the defund the police movement because crime is spiking across the country. They're actually attempting to blame the Republicans for suggesting it. Congressman, the American people are not stupid. Violent crime is skyrocketing. How do we stop this?
Well, first off, we have to recognize that defunding the police is the dumbest idea that I've ever heard as a legislator. Yeah. And when you have some of my colleagues that are now speaking on behalf of the Democratic Party here in Washington that want to defund our police, we have to tell the truth. When Democrats try to blame Republicans for sacrificing our law enforcement officials and the funding they need, it's absurd. When the American people don't believe it. I mean, we can see that our cities are burning. Our urban areas run by Democrats have crime spikes that we haven't seen in a very, very long time. It's going to take real leadership. It's going to take Republican leadership to actually fix these problems, even in our urban areas. And I really hope the voters of those areas stand up and say enough's enough. We're not going to listen to Democrats blame Republicans for the problems that they created any longer, and we're going to vote them out.
Well, I mean, that's why I think we need term limits, because people get into Congress for decades and then they forget who they're working for. I mean, look at California right now in terms of the homelessness and the crime. You know, Adam Schiff, Nancy Pelosi those are their districts. Do they know who they're fighting for? I mean, what is going to get done, do you think, in the next year, Congressman? What can you honestly say you believe will get achieved in the next year before the midterm elections?
Well, it would be great if we would be able to come together in a bipartisan infrastructure deal. The president is out trying to sell the plan that he negotiated with 10 senators, but the devil's going to be in the detail, Maria. And once that bill actually starts to get written, we're going to see if that deal holds up. I'm optimistic that we can do that, but I am not sure I would place a money bet that they'll be able to get this done without trying to ram a partisan reconciliation process down the throats of every American.
Well, that's what happened this weekend. And then President Biden walked back his comments saying initially, I'm not signing any infrastructure deal unless there's another act or another bill on my desk side by side that includes other spending, massive spending and tax increases. So are you expecting a reconciliation package in August?
I would expect a reconciliation package because, remember, it doesn't matter what President Biden negotiates with members of the U.S. Senate. It's Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi that put bills on the floor, and it's going to go the way they want it to go. You know, I listened the last 4 years to my Democratic colleagues who told me they didn't want to negotiate with President Trump because they couldn't trust him to keep his word. Now, it only took President Biden a few months to prove that he can't keep his word.
All right, we will leave it there. Congressional term limits. Congressman, it's good to see you, sir. Thanks very much. We'll keep following this. Rodney Davis joining us. Stay with us. We'll be right back.